Welcome to Storytime. Lance took AJ back to Mahogany Town, going into a shop where he said the radio signal was coming from. He asked the shopkeep about it and he told him to get out, but Lance wasn't having that, so he released his Dragonite to do some convincing. After a little bit of gentle coercing, he told him that there was a secret Team Rocket base underneath the shop, and Lance and AJ busted their way in. The two split up to cover more ground, and AJ got to work defeating Rocket members. He collected the passwords needed to move on, but before he could use them, Silver appeared and swore he would be the one to defeat Team Rocket. He also mentioned that he had battled Lance, but he had lost hardly, and Lance had told him that he didn't care enough for his Pokemon. Of course, he didn't believe it, and he ran off. Opening the locked door, AJ found Petrel, an executive of Team Rocket. He explained that though Giovanni was gone, Team Rocket had continued without him, and that they were hoping to lure their leader back. AJ defeated Petrel, who ran off to warn everyone that it was time to leave. As he continued, another executive, Ariana, ambushed him with another member, but Lance found them and took on the grunt, leaving AJ with the executive because he's a responsible adult. AJ pulled out a victory anyway, but Ariana claimed the research had already succeeded and fled. AJ and Lance took out the electrodes powering the machines, and Lance said that the remaining Magikarp would be safe and that the Gyarados would most likely calm down too. Thanking him for his help, he told AJ that he looked forward to facing him at the Indigo Plateau. The Mahogany Gym was finally open. The floor was covered in slick ice, which it turned out AJ was not terribly good at navigating. If he took even one step, he would go careening wildly ahead and crash into an ice wall. As he battled the trainers inside, Brian once again evolved, overcoming his weakness to ice and becoming a Pidgeot. Finally, AJ got to the leader, Price. His final Pokemon was Piloswine, an absolute powerhouse to take out Eevee, Hoot Hoot, Shuckle, and Brian with ease. Lazy Gator turned the match around, and AJ had his Glacier badge. There was only one left before he could challenge the Pokemon League. As he was leaving, AJ got a call from Professor Elm. Team Rocket had taken over the Goldenrod radio tower. AJ rushed off to finish them off for good. On the way, he saw Suicune again and tried to reach it, but there were trees in his way. Lazy Gator revealed that he had taken the Admiral's sword and learned Cut on his own, slicing through them with ease. The legendary Pokemon got away again though, so AJ decided to have Brian fly him home to New Barktown because it'd be faster. After spending the day with his mother, because apparently the Team Rocket situation didn't seem super dire, he made his way to Goldenrod. The people seemed nervous, but AJ noticed that none of the police seemed to be getting involved. It seemed that Team Rocket had been allowed to take over the tower with no intervention. AJ burst in and toppled all the grunts that came his way. He found the radio director's office, but Petrel was waiting there for him. Though he was packing more Pokemon, AJ still beat him, and he admitted that the director was in an underground warehouse, and that AJ couldn't get any higher in the tower without his help. Sneaking into the underground tunnel, AJ found that he was being followed by Silver. AJ said he didn't have time to play, but Silver wouldn't let him pass him until they had a battle. AJ was furious to see him using a Sneasel, surely the one that Shuckle's owner had stolen. He demanded Silver return it along with his other stolen Pokemon, but Silver just laughed it off. His smile faded as he lost though. He balled his fists, trembling with anger. How could he keep losing to AJ? AJ told him that Lance was right, that he only saw Pokemon as tools for battle and that he would never be able to unlock their true potential like that. Silver just scowled at him before running off again. AJ continued into the warehouse and freed the director, who gave him a keycard to reach the top of the radio tower. AJ ran back and was met on the higher floors by Ariana, who he quickly beat once more. At the top of the tower was an observation deck, and Archer was waiting for him. He told AJ that though this was their first meeting, they'd been affecting each other for some time now. Archer was going to use the radio tower to broadcast Team Rocket's reformation to the world, and to get Giovanni's attention so he would come back to them. AJ said he wouldn't stand for that and engaged Archer in battle. After AJ won, Archer was beside himself. After all he'd done to try to keep AJ down, he was still so strong. The assassination attempts hadn't worked. He had turned the people against AJ and Laser Gator, and even that didn't deter him. His will was indomitable. He really did have what it took to become a champion. Archer sighed. His ambitions had been undone by a mere child. He proclaimed that he would disband the new Team Rocket and that this time it would be for good. He could tell AJ was going to take Red's place. He decided to come clean about everything to AJ, about how the churches had become corrupt and how they had allowed Team Rocket to work for them in exchange for money and resources. Even if Team Rocket pulled out though, their power was still nearly absolute. AJ was amazed. He'd known that something had gone wrong in Johto after Red left, but he never could have imagined that both churches were ruling together, deceiving their believers. Archer asserted that though AJ had beaten Team Rocket, his enemy was the one he could power through. Unless he became the champion, he would never have enough influence to change anything. Archer took one last look at the view from the observation deck before wishing AJ luck and leaving. Meeting back up with Lance, AJ explained the situation. Lance was ashamed that he hadn't realized something was going on. Though he knew something was off, he had no idea how far the corruption had spread. He warned AJ that in order to save the church, he was going to have to become an enemy of it. In the eyes of many of the people, he would be fighting the gods themselves. AJ was nervous, but he was determined to make things right, so he continued his journey. He came to the Ice Path, a frozen cave that connected Mahogany Town to Blackthorn City. AJ marveled at the beauty of the cave, not knowing what an ordeal he was in for. The entire floor of the cave was covered in ice and snow, and it was nearly impossible to traverse. He spent hours sliding along the icy floor, teaching Smoochum strength to help him move some large rocks out of the way. Every time it seemed that they were making progress though, they would slide back, and AJ began to wonder if they would ever make it out. He decided to take a break, laying out on a blanket on the snow. He couldn't help but think about his departed Pokemon. The Admiral, N, Prince Omelette, Whooper Goldberg. They'd only been gone a little while, but it felt like forever. AJ couldn't help but feel like a failure, and he could tell the rest of the team felt the same way. The Prince had been their cheerleader, and without him it just seemed like there was no light in their team. Eevee watched all its teammates, saddened to see them so down. It wanted to help bring the team back up, so it decided that it would be the happiness for them until they could feel their own. Suddenly it began to glow, evolving into Espeon. Espeon's presence immediately calmed everyone down. Nuzzling up against their teammates, Espeon lifted their spirits and let them feel like everything was going to be okay. With Espeon's kind eyes urging them on, AJ gathered everyone together and set off to conquer the ice cave. It was time to move on and get the final badge. Thanks for watching Storytime. If you'd like to see more, you can subscribe, or you can follow me on Twitter or Tumblr to get updates when new videos come out. See you soon!